Welcome back to the Tool Crib. Today, I think I'm going to try to modify my Leatherman Surge. So there's one feature that I've been using on some Victorinox knives and multi-tools lately. That is this little arch cutter or this cable cutter. And I found that it is an incredibly handy little implement. And so I think I want to try to implement that same thing into my Leatherman Surge. And the one tool that I can modify in order to do that is going to be the large driver. Now, whether or not it's going to take away from the strength of it as a little pry tool as well, it might. But I've always got backups to this, so if I feel like it's taking away some strength to it, I might have to switch out the other screwdriver and just add the large flat driver back in with my first generation Leatherman Surge. So I do have backup tools that if this doesn't work out quite right, I can still manage to put it back. So I think we're just going to take this one off and try to modify this one first, see if we can get it correct and then how we like it. Now, one issue is that with the Victorinox, it opens to or from the outside, and so the orientation of it is pretty good. So when you got a cable like this extension cord and you're cutting around it, it fits really well. On the Surge, it opens from the inside, so it'll be a little cumbersome like this, but I think because of the way I would grab this, the way my finger would set in there, and if I put that on the outside of this tool as opposed to the inside, I think I can make it work, and I think it's going to work well. Again, if I mess it up, I still got options to go back to the original. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to get out the Dremel and start grinding away. So after looking at this a little bit more closely on my Leatherman Surge, trying to determine where I want that cutter to be, I think we're just going to go dead center between the catch here and where the grind profile starts. And we're only going to want to drill down, or grind down, I guess, about 1/16 of an inch. And then we'll start coming up with our own file to so that we can get that on the proper angle. Well, after looking at this a little closer, this ought to work just perfect with the 1/2-inch sanding drum of the Dremel. If we go straight on like that, it's not quite perfect. It would be nice if I had a 5/8, but I don't believe I do. I'm going to check. And if I have a 5/8, I'll switch to 5/8, and then when we grind it, we'll come up with our own sharpening system to put it on like a little dowel rod or something in order to sharpen up the edge. Well, my little makeshift file seemed to have worked pretty decently. The only thing is all I have is 240 grit emery cloth right now. I don't have anything finer to get a little sharper edge on it. But it does appear like it put a pretty decent edge on it, and it came out all right. The only thing is when I first started with the Dremel, I had it a little off from where I wanted it originally. So it's a little off center, but I don't think that's going to make much of a difference. So I think we just need to get it back onto the Surge and see if it's going to work correctly. Well, I got everything back on the Surge, and now it's just time for the moment of truth. So again, I wish I had a finer emery cloth to get just a little bit sharper edge on there, but like I said, I got some on the way, so I could still file that down just a little bit or sand it down just a little bit. But let's see if it works. So we'll just take this, we'll go back about an inch or so, run it around. Not too bad, not too bad. It's not perfect, but it definitely gives me the solution I was looking for. And the way that I set it in here by putting it on the back side of that driver, I think that's actually going to work out well. Maybe I could have got it a little bit closer. If I could have centered it up a little better like I wanted to originally, instead of getting it off when I started with the Dremel, I would have liked it a little bit better. You know, another 1/8 inch back would have made it just a little bit of a difference. But it actually worked really well. I'm really surprised. And you don't have to worry about slipping off and cutting your finger on the knife. There it is, boys. My modification, or at least my first one, to my Leatherman Surge. Appreciate you watching. I'll see you in the next one.